This is about something that cannot happen because of hegemonies. Many, 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 many things happen that are completely, solely, gravitationally tied to hegemony. It layers itself. But many things are immune to that gravitation, since it is synthetic and imitation. And many things exist in this universe that have nothing to do with queer coalitions, hegemonies, political concepts, artificial lunatic mind constructs. They're all mental constructs. There's no such thing as a hard hegemony anywhere. You can get shot by an hegemony, but it does not exist, except in the brains of politician-type creatures. What does get you killed is power. Power gets you killed. Things exist without hegemonies. They are free of hegemonies, and they are not affected by hegemonies. At the same time, many ailments occur because of hegemonies. Never addressed by hegemonies, never repaired, in fact, never considered to be necessary to repair. Just considered to be part of the modus operandi, the status quo, the way it happens. Oh well. Well, that always happens, so what? Some of those things are very, very important and very desperately need to be addressed and taken care of because they're mounting up. It's becoming a trash world, not just because of deviants and politicians. The physical infrastructure is becoming trash. I'll read this to you and I hope you understand it. One of the worst aspects about the political concept of hegemony is that it promotes the spread of greed and fanatic nationalism, as opposed to ordinary and healthy nationalism, and prevents any truly global reforms and reconstructions from happening. That's the things that hegemonies ignore. Oh well, that happens. Let's not think about that. Let's keep going with the hegemony. Nothing will catch up with us. We'll always have a progressive, onwards-going hegemony. The trash and sewage and wreckage we're leaving behind us, it will never catch up with us. It will never bite us in the ass. Believe that. Prevents any truly global reforms and reconstructions, smothering such ideas with greedy imitations designed to promote hegemonies instead. Therefore, it is impossible to get a real global repair to occur, because all would-be hegemonies would only see such an idea through selfish hegemony glasses. For instance, all of the ghettos on this planet must be erased and replaced with new cities. All of the ghettos on this planet must be erased and replaced with new cities. Hegemonic governments and political assholes would never allow that to happen in their territories of coalitions. Regardless of that, without them, it is very possible on a simultaneous and worldwide scale to do exactly that. erase the ghettos and put brand new cities in their places. I know exactly how to do it. I know the time scales, the principal ingredients, the methodologies, and the techniques. But it cannot be done because of the existence of the politics scourge on this planet. I know all of the arguments about such a global project, and all of the pros and cons and solutions and answers. But it cannot be done because of politics. I am entirely in favor of the preservation of human nations and human cultures. And I am. But because of such political maladies like queer pseudo-socialism, I gave you a web link to those things recently, if you have the stomach to look at it, the nations of the world will not cooperate to any extent required to actually repair the planet for fear of it giving opportunities to the rabid pseudo-socialists. The pseudo-socialists might actually wedge themselves into it and try to use it as an opportunity. To prevent that, no one will get together and do these things. Plus, they're all preoccupied with their own pursuits of hegemony. If it doesn't suit their greed, if it doesn't pay for their brand new swimming pools and their new Maseratis, they don't want to hear it. Oh, hell no. By the way, I am being accused of being and improperly perceived as a sarcastic fellow. This is something else. I get accused of being sarcastic. That is all wrong. I'm not sarcastic. You've got to be forceful when you say the truth about a lot of these things. I just wonder about things in ways that may be understood as sarcasm. But really, when you have seen as much as I have seen in this war, the things that I write about that seem to be sarcasm to some people are actually legitimate concerns and inquiries if you know enough about the truth. If you know enough about the truth. Now, that bit about the yellow cat, I heard about that all the way from Indiana. It was just a little bit of humor I threw into one of my messages. That was sarcasm. It happened right after the last political circus. I mentioned a yellow cat hit my car, the Impala. But why would I not expect voter idiots to jump into the side of my car on election night if they thought I was driving a voting booth? That is not sarcasm, that is sad fact. But to get back to what I was saying about the ghettos and the elimination of the ghettos, it's really doable. I'm not going to say how. I've been thinking about it on and off for about a decade and a half now. More than that. Probably since the 1990s. One way or another, I began thinking about that way back in the 1990s. Early 1990s. And it was just a posit. A posit is like a post-it note in your brain. Boink. Hey, here's an idea. Boink. And you tack it to your neurons. And it stays there. And because it hurts, you go back to it and you look at it. It's supposed to hurt. And it demands attention because it hurts. And you look at it and you think about it, and boy, I'd like to get rid of that. Well, unless you actually turn it into a thread of thought, it's going to stay there, tacked to your neurons, and it's going to continue to hurt. So you either have to make the decision, eliminate that, I don't need it, I never will be part of that, I'll never pursue that. Then you can take the tack out and throw the whole thing in the river. Or start an entire thought process about it. And I was living in the Adirondacks at the time, and you can really think up there. There's a lot of room up there to think in. And I was so far away from any city and any ghetto. The further away I got, the more I thought about them. The further I get away from all of these problems and this society, the more I think about it. Because I can really put things together very well, not just when I'm here, but when I'm not here, in different ways, and it all adds up. Goes together like a big jigsaw puzzle. And I thought about the ghettos, and I thought about what it would take to eliminate the ghettos, and I just accepted the idea without knowing how. Okay, I'm going to think about this. I can take the tack out now. That feels a lot better. And, okay, I'm going to make this a permanent recurring thread of thought in my brain. I opened a file about it, started writing information about it, adding notations. It took about 10 years to figure the whole thing out. Not working at it all the time, because that's not how you do things like this. You can overburden yourself with a certain train of thought and inquiry and just burn yourself out about it. There are far better ways to solve really huge problems, and that's not to intensify too much on it, but to dance around it. Sort of like Muhammad Ali. You dance around it and you punch it. You hit it and you watch what it does. And you're over there and you're over there and you're around there. You just come at it from all kinds of angles and you just keep hitting it. You watch how it reacts. Because every time you hit something, information comes out. You remember all of that and you log it down, remember it, compare it, squeeze it, and more information comes out. It took about 10 years to figure out how to do all of that. And it's possible. If you could eliminate all of this hegemony bullshit, if you could wipe out those politicians, if you could bring the planet together in one effort, all nations, not only would you solve, in the process of doing this one thing, many other problems, but you would literally eliminate every ghetto on the planet. Some people will hear that without seeing this. Some people will hear that Peter's said this, and they'll shake their heads or they'll just stare at whatever they were looking at. Fire hydrant, municipal bus, dog pissing on fire hydrant. And they won't even see the dog at the fire hydrant. They'll just zone out. They won't be able to understand what it means or how it could possibly be done. The beauty of it is, it's easy. Once you know how to do it, it's easy to do. We've got everything we need, and everyone we need. Except we have these things called hegemonies and politicians. We've got some real assholes in the way. I think for now that's about it for hegemonies. I'm not really going to pursue it anymore. There's too much else going on, and I've got some real whoppers coming up that have to be done, and they'll have probably 10 videos each. That's it for right now.